Hello everyone, Shinto Bean here playing some more Warhammer combat cards, and here we are on day 3 of the Apocalypse campaign. And for this day we have more points than ever available before to use in our deck. 699 points and everything is set to max level. I was half expecting to see something new pop up, but we are actually just getting the 2 Titans from days 1 and 2 able to use here at the same time. So we've got the Hierophant, there it is at level 7, 125 barrage damage with its ranged attack, and then 80 melee. Pretty nasty looking bugger. And then we've got the Herodon, which is actually also very powerful with the fear. Max level fear is really nasty, and it has a very powerful ranged and a decent melee attack as well. Tons of health on those two. And I'm using my personal favorite, Tyranid Warlord, for this final day. I didn't really use him on the first 2 days because the ranged options seemed better, but when playing Tyranids, I think Gosar really embodies the feel of the Swarm, and I really just like using these Tyranids to tear the enemy to shreds in melee combat. That's kind of what I would expect these kind of aliens to do with all these claws and stuff. So I'm running some of the biggest melee hitters this time. We've got the Molok, which has Death Blow, so when it dies it can take a few enemies with it, hopefully. I've got the Haruspex, which also has a pretty good melee attack. And Regeneration. Regeneration is probably one of the weaker traits, honestly, considering how much damage everything is doing. The 16 health is not bad, but it's not really all that great. But the nice thing about this is at 39 points, it actually is not the target of big game hunters. And with the orcs running some powerful big game hunters, that thing could potentially come in handy. I'm running the Hive Crone. This thing does not have very much health for its cost, but it does hit like a truck. And the precision shot, of course, deals 100% of its range damage on deployment. We've got the Tyranid Warrior. This thing also another glass cannon with not much health, but poison actually can be very good at dealing with fear or shields, especially at max level, 16 damage at the end of each turn. I'm also running the Maleceptor with Psionic Blast. This is also to just help deal with any shields that we may come up against. And then finally, I've thrown in the Abominant with Berserk. All it needs is to take 1 damage, and it's already at 90 melee, so this thing could potentially really be dishing out some damage. It also has quite a bit of health for its cost. So, that was a long intro, but we're going to go ahead and deploy. This is just level 5 of the 3rd day, so it is a boss level, and there are actually, I believe, 3 boss levels. At least that's how it has been on the first 2 days. So we will be facing the orc monstrosities that we saw on the first 2 days. Not sure which warlord it is. It seems to be different with each boss level. It's a different orc warlord leading these guys. For this one, it is Captain Badruck, so we're gonna try to avoid getting killed by those high damage units. We'll see what they throw at us here. I'm gonna deploy that Herodon first, and it does look like they are running some ranged units. Let's see, we do have the initiative, and I think the Molok does have enough to devour that mech gun in 1 hit. There's a big one. So yeah, the Blastojet, this thing can deal a lot of damage. It also has big game hunter, so yeah, that thing would be dealing over 200 damage to anything that has 40 or more points. That could be a slight problem, but I'm going to throw, well, I'm tempted to use the Tyranid Warrior against it, but if shields come up later, that could be an issue. So I think we'll just, we'll see how the Herodon does against it, reducing its damage by 60%. It won't be dealing nearly as much damage now. Okay, that was unfortunate. Alright, so they decided to deploy the big Stompa there on turn 1. 95 melee and ranged attack with Big Game Hunter. 2 Big Game Hunters on the first turn. That is not looking so great. So, I'm just going to go ahead and use the melee attack. And I'm really wishing that Molok was in the center now, because, yeah, 166 damage from each attack from that Stompa. That thing is going to stomp the Bio-Titan right into the ground. And here we've got the Gorgonaut on the field. Lots of ranged coming at us here. Now the Hierophant can actually retaliate for a lot of damage. I think it dealt a total of about 225 there, including the splash damage. So I think I'm just going to go for a ranged attack here, even though it's going to be very... well, hold on. Yeah, no, we're going to go for the melee attack because with Captain Badrook, his special rule only activates when using a ranged attack. So if I went ranged here, that could potentially be a lot of retaliation from these orcs. So we'll instead go with the melee attack. We will lose the Hierophant a lot faster than I was expecting, but I think we're still doing okay. The Herodon still has plenty of health there. And let's see here. I think maybe we're going to see how this guy does. Can drop the Abominant. This thing is under 40 points, so it won't actually be taking extra damage from the Stompa, although it's still going to be taking a lot of damage. And 86 from the Blastojet, but that thing does go down from the Herodon's counterattack. Let's see what else they have here. Another mech gun. Lots of big game hunters for sure in this deck. And lots of ranged units. In previous days, previous levels, faced Captain Badrook a number of times, but he was running a lot of like melee units and stuff, which don't really combo so well with him. This time though, he's really piling on the hurt here with the ranged attacks, and here this is going to be a pretty brutal turn here. Lots of damage just from that Gorgonaut, although the counterattack from the death blow actually took it out before it got any extra attacks in, but there 100 extra damage from the Stompa. Lots of stuff died that turn. Let's see. I think we're going to go with... now this could be interesting. How about we put down the Maliceptor with Signing Blast, and then we'll drop the Hive Crone in the center lane. So the Precision Shot will bring that Stompa down to very low health, and then the Signing Blast will finish it off. And there's the other big one. The big tank deploying in the right lane. So the Stompa gets taken out there by the Signing Blast. Blasted tank's damage getting greatly reduced by the fear from the Herodon, fortunately. And then we can just go with the melee attack here. It's been getting powered up by Gosar this whole time. And that was pretty straightforward. I mean, despite all the range they have, those mech guns don't really have a whole lot of health, so they're pretty easy to take down. But there's the old Daka Jet, of course. Forgot about that. Yeah, that's going to be doing a lot of damage here, for sure. That Precision Shot hitting for the full attack power. And wow, okay. They managed to do a lot more damage there than I was expecting. It's not over yet. We have 2 bodyguards remaining. Gosar does not have a huge amount of health. So here is this is what's going to happen. We're going to put down the Harspix and the Tyranid Warrior in the center lane, and we'll just hit Badrook with the poison. Quite a bit of damage here, not enough to actually kill anything. But I don't think they're actually going to be able to kill anything on their turn either. And then we can just hit Badrook with one final attack, and it looks like we won't even have to deploy Gosar. Well, he can do plenty of damage himself at max level with the Inspiring Presence. Also, we had a big Psychic attack charged up, so we could have potentially dealt a lot of damage with that. So, there it is. We got lethal, taking down Badrook, even while he's being flanked by some of the strongest ranged units in the game. So, victory for the Tyranids. I've been using Gosar this whole time on day 3, so that's the first 5 levels down with 0 strikes. It's been working out pretty well, and it's been a lot of fun. I like this build a lot. Definitely plays differently than using the ranged composition with the Jackal Alphas. Now, there are plenty of other combos you could try. This exploration hasn't been too difficult. I didn't get any strikes on days 1 or 2. I think the next boss level on day 3 might be more challenging. But this is the one that I think I'm going to go with for my channel. So let me know what you thought of this campaign, this exploration. This has actually been one of my favorite ones. I really like playing as Tyranids, and just having access to so many points allows you to use all the combinations that you normally would not get to. So it's been quite fun. Let me know any feedback you have about the event, and if you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.